Hey, it's Ed here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for Ethereum with Elliott Wave Theory. Today we're starting the analysis from this 4-hour time frame and looking at the scenario here. First, downwards movements again from the highs of $4,800. On this idea that, again, I'm thinking this more as a three-way structure because, again, we are hitting right on the dot of the one-to-one extension here. Some people might have it as a 1, 2, and 3, but again, for me, it would require a bit more downwards movement to be that more likely. At the moment, I do prefer the idea that we have an ABC finished down at these lows. Since the lows, we have two different options here for this structure starting from the lows of June. We have the bullish scenario, which is still possible, where we have this as a 5-way structure, or the bearish possibility where we have this as an ABC into W, 3 ways into X, 3 ways into that way Y. Both of them are possible as mentioned. We have yet to take out these lows like we did on Bitcoin. So overall, ETH is still more bullish than Bitcoin. So both of these counts do end at these highs, so we can start looking for possibilities downwards. Nothing with this count has really changed, which is again this one where we would have this as an ABC downwards, ABC up for that X wave, and then we would be looking for a partner leg basically for this wave W downwards. At the moment, this wave B has already taken quite a bit of time, so we need to be looking into comparison to this X wave here in time, and we don't really want us to go beyond the time it used to create a higher time frame structure than the lower time frame structure here. So if we have now pivoted from these highs, this would be pretty spot on, and then we could be starting this C wave. Is it possible that we are having that C wave here? Absolutely. And again, this is my main idea that we have been looking for this B wave and then the move downwards. Again, the extension targets that we would have would be, let's see, this is the targets for wave Y. Let's take a look at the targets for that wave C. So something like this. Change the color. Nothing really is lining up too well, unfortunately, here. So again, take this with a pinch of salt. Minimum we want to see is 974. Again, at this point, we would not take out the lows that we would have here. Only at one-to-one extension of this wave W, we would be taking that. So yeah, that's that. We could still be looking for that higher move upside, to the upside, giving basically this leg a partner leg upwards. But that is as well possible on Bitcoin. But let's dive into this smaller time frame structure here to see what we actually have. I haven't covered ETH in a couple of days now, a few days, maybe a week. So the idea we had, again, if the B wave was at these highs, we would have to say that we have this as a finished structure. Now, that is kind of difficult. Although we have this as the three-way structure, both these are fine to look at. The structure, if we have to end it here, is not that easy. Sure, we could be saying that we have this as that three-way structure, three-way pullback, and then another three-way structure upwards. The issue that I have with this one is that we don't get to the 0.618 here. Although we do get kind of close, I generally keep that 618 as a minimum, so we don't reach that. It significantly reduces probabilities for me. Again, that is just my proposal that it might not be done. But again, then we have to be acknowledging the higher time frame thing where, again, the one-to-one of that sub-mini account is coming up here on the 18th of December, which again would mean that this smaller time frame structure would be actually larger than the higher degree one. So again, that reduces its probabilities. Which one weighs more? I'm not quite sure. But if we want to be playing with this idea still, that we are going to get some kind of move up, and it is part of this structure, we could be playing with this. We would have this again as a three-way structure, and instead of this being a structure that would end at here, we would actually have this as a pivot for only the wave W. 3 ways into a lower degree W again, an ABC here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks pretty decent. The retracement of wave W here for that X wave, 1.382, doesn't get to the 1.618 retracement, so it's all fine. And then we would be looking for, if we are labeling this as a WXY, we would be looking for an ABC down here. It retraces to the 2-to-1 extension of this wave W, and also as we have broken these highs, it is better to acknowledge or expect that this is an ABC instead. At the moment, extension wise, is the only reason I've labeled this as an ABC here. If I'm moving this guy a bit, we see that this ABC here hits the 1.236, which is again more of a bearish extension target. Of course, we could be labeling this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which would fit the higher time frame picture better. So instead, we would have this as a B, and then C, and this would be orange, and we would just delete this one, and we would have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into these lows, possibly. We would have a running flat in here, a diagonal in the wave 1, and that's that. This would end this count. We would have double divergence. Let's go in a smaller time frame. We would have double divergence here at the end, as we were expecting again, expand flat, or this time it's a running flat, like so. We do have that divergence between these two lows, which is expected, and the divergence between the third and fifth here as well, which is expected. So again, there is definitely a possibility that this whole thing is ended here, and this would be a ABC instead of that WXY. Both of them have pretty decent ends at these points. Again, we were expecting a C wave from these highs. We could have this as a very small 1, 2 here, 3, 4, and 5. End would be at these same lows. If we are turning downwards, then we need to be probably looking at more of those 1, 2, 1, 2 setups somehow here. Not really quite sure how I would be labeling them. Again, with very little retracements, it's really hard to sometimes put in labels here. But that is still the idea. As the C wave ended here, we would have now created this wave W, X, and then Y is next, of course the wave Y. As we have not retraced 90% of this wave W here, we are looking this as a WXY instead of an ABC flat structure. So again, we would be looking for some kind of targets like this. 1-to-1 would be around $1,400. And this would be the end of B wave. If we want more market symmetry, this would be the way to go. If we again want to say that, okay, this is done here. This is done, this whole structure like so. We don't really get a market symmetry between this potential C wave or whatever you want to be calling this with this one, or wave Y probably, because we had 3, 3, and then 3. No market symmetry really between this one and this one, according to time at least. Of course, in price they are similar, and on ETH and on Bitcoin we just took out the highs here on both. So again, that is somewhat significant, but it doesn't mean that this whole structure needs to be done, and we are just taking out these lows now and going to zero basically. There is still some more upside potential as well. But yeah, that is the idea here. We would be looking to create potential wave Y here. Of course, there is a potential, here as well to create just this as a wave 1 of something. Instead of, if we are labeling this as a 5-way structure, we always need to be thinking that if this is a end or a start of something, does this have a potential of having a start here? For sure, we had this structure as the potential end up at this high, so this would be a start of something. Also, is it possible to be ending something? Yeah, for sure. It would be ending this structure, and we are expecting now the wave Y here. So you see that both these could be expecting a move upwards. We are on very oversold at the moment due to this mess, and we have some divergences here, so we could be looking for higher prices. even if it is just correcting this structure and then continuation down. So this would be at that point wave 1 and 2, or an ABC, if that fits your picture better. To me, again, I would be expecting the wave Y in 3 waves. But yeah, that is basically that. There is, of course, multiple different ways of looking at the market, even separate to these, but I think these are the ones that I'm tracking at the moment that I feel like are the most probable for me. But I think that brings us to the end of this video. If you made it again up to this point, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you next video. Bye bye.